Hi guys, welcome back to Origami Twist. Today's Daily December video is one of my hands down favorite ones for this particular challenge. It is an incredibly satisfying project and it's totally worth the steps involved in creating it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to make lots of videos like this down the track, and I also have, I think there's like 160 some odd videos on my channel already, so please go ahead and explore those as well as this one if you enjoy paper folding and paper crafting. Okay, the first step in this process is to get 6 sheets of origami paper. I'm using a 6" by 6" square. You can use whatever you've got, but they do need to be identical and they do need to be square. You're then going to make a template, and you can do that either by following the video that I made yesterday, which I will link down below and also in the upper right hand corner of this video, so that you can go and check it out and create a template so that you can fold your paper into thirds. Now, it is not completely straightforward, this whole folding paper into thirds, so your friends are going to be very impressed that you're doing this particular project, I can assure you. And I like to have a template because all these extra folds end up showing in the final square, and it looks a lot neater if the extra folds that are needed in order to make these thirds are in the template and not in your actual folds. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of sticky tape, just regular Scotch tape, and tape it down to my surface. So make sure you're not going to ruin the surface you're folding on when you do that. I'm using just a craft mat that I'm taping this to. I'm then going to take my paper and colored side down, I'm going to line it up with a large portion of that paper. Notice that my template is the same size in dimensions as the paper I'm working with. That's very important, otherwise the measurements won't be accurate. Line it up perfectly so that the whole thing all the way across is lined up, and we're going to take that bottom edge and bring it up to this black line. Now we'll know that it's a nice straight line without having a separate line coming out the other side by lining up the points with the edge of the paper. Because it's a square, they're already parallel with each other, and that will give you a really great measuring tool. So now that we've used our template for that first mark, we've got our guidelines, and we're ready to keep folding. So now we've got a crease, and we can take the other edge and bring it up to the crease to create the last 2/3. And there you go, your paper's divided into 3 equal pieces. I saw a video once of a guy in his workshop saying to the camera, you know, the most valuable tool in your workshop is your template. And after doing this, you will see that that is not a joke. That rule of thirds thing just saves so many hassles. Okay, so you're going to fold all 6 of the papers the same way, and then we're ready to continue folding. So once you've got your guide marks, we're going to hold those guide marks or creases horizontally like this. And we're going to take the bottom corner and bringing it up so that everything lines up perfectly. You want to be very careful with this particular fold that nothing overlaps. It brings it right up to the edge but doesn't go over. And we're going to do that in the other 3 corners as well. So the edge, the point is going to come up, and that edge is going to line up with the crease. Bringing the corner effectively in towards the middle. Not all the way to the middle, but just up to the crease. So we'll turn it around and do exactly the same thing. Now, I like to recommend to people who are new to origami, if you're doing a modular origami setup like this, which means more than one piece that are going to be interlocked with each other in order to create a final piece, ideally, you want to do, if you need 6, do 7, because the first one is going to come out not the way you want it to, and the other 6 will make up your final piece. You can do what you want, but that's a good way to think of it so you don't get frustrated with the first one. We're now going to take this edge or one of the edges of the flaps that's into the middle and bring it up so that it intersects with those two tips, or meets those two tips. So the corners of that bottom part come up to that point and crease. Now, if everything were a perfect world, you'd have this beautiful point here with no gaps. You'll notice it's not a perfect world, and I've got a tiny gap there. That's on purpose because I know that if you're not, if this isn't the easiest thing in the world for you, you may end up with a little gap. It'll be okay, just make sure that you're getting it as close as you possibly can. And it kind of looks like an envelope at this stage, doesn't it? We're going to turn it around, and then this short edge again is going to come up to that middle point. This time you've already got one flap in, and you can just line it up with that whole line. You've already prepared your paper. Again, make sure you're not overlapping at all. That will backfire on you if you overlap. And there you go. Now we're almost finished. We just have a couple more folds, and the first one is while holding this. So you have that line that's right down the middle going horizontal. You're going to take the upper left-hand triangle and bring this short edge down to the long edge and crease. So just like that. And on the other side, we're going to bring the bottom right up to this corner that's been created. So this edge lines up with this edge and crease. And once again, making sure that these two flaps do not overlap with each other. And if anything, give them a tiny little bit of a gap, because we're going to be taking these flaps and tucking them into another fold. So they need to fit inside the fold and not go over the edge or over each other. Now that you've got both flaps folded over, you're going to open up the flap, and you'll notice that there's a little pocket across the way. You're actually going to tuck that flap inside the pocket, making sure that you're not folding the edge, that it's going in smooth, just like that. And it will actually lock that flap into place. We're going to turn it around, and you've got one more flap, and it's exactly the same situation. You'll notice there's a little pocket that's been created across the way, and you're smoothly going to insert that flap into the pocket, being super neat. And now you can see why you don't want to overlap, because if you had overlapped, it wouldn't fold as neatly inside the pocket. Now the last step is to turn your paper over, so all these little pockets are going to go on the bottom, and we're going to fold this triangle up to this opposite point and crease. Once again, not overlapping, just being super neat about it. Turn it around, and same thing, triangle up, so that now we've got two flaps and a square. And that is one of the modules or units for this modular origami cube. And you can see that I have made a rainbow of these earlier. And you do want to make sure that they're all identical. They all look exactly the same. I like the look of a rainbow. You can do whatever you want and experiment in order to make your cube. Now all we have to do is put it together. Okay, once you've finished all 6, we're going to assemble the cube. So you want one going one way, and for your units, you want one going one way and one going the other way, horizontal and vertical. You're going to take the horizontal one, and see how if you overlap it, it fits right on that side? That's fantastic, because there's actually a little pouch there that you can tuck the piece into. There you go. And now one more orange one. And in a similar situation, the horizontal one can go into the vertical one and connect. And then you can see we just need one more to connect them. And we'll put a pink one in place. And the other side, as we go around, they tuck right into place. Just, if you're not sure if it's going to fit, just overlap it like that, and then you'll know which one to go into. There you go. Now again, you can see those two triangles on the top and bottom. All we need to do is insert squares into that one. So I'll do pink on top And again, same thing. Now the further into it you get, and you'll find this with any modular origami, that you need to do a little bit of wiggling and reconfiguring in order to get it to work. This will connect without using adhesive. So it's just a matter of, moving it around very gently in order to get it to fit. There you go. And we'll turn it over. And the last piece, and then we'll just put the edges in. So open those two triangles, lay it down, and again, same thing. See how it lays over? You know exactly where to insert that pocket. If you need to, use your finger to open the pocket. And that last piece is always the most tricky. There you go. Again, wiggling it a little bit to get it to fit. Same thing, insert. Rolling it in, again, takes a little practice. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And you can see we're nearly finished. Now all we have to do at this stage is just tuck in loose ends. So again, fingers up, fingers to lift it up, and it's exactly the same as you did with the other pieces. Wiggling it together. And that is a fairly awkward feeling, that wiggling it together, because it is obvious that it's not right, but you don't want to push it too hard. You can be firm with it, just be gentle. And last two. And the last one just here. And again, wiggle it. Don't push too hard, but you can wiggle all the pieces into place. And there you go. We've just made a modular origami cube out of 6 pieces of paper and utilized the rule of thirds when it comes to origami. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I hope you make a whole bunch of cubes for all of your friends. Make a great Christmas present. And I hope you have a great day. We'll see you guys again tomorrow for another Daily December video. And take care. Bye-bye, guys.